This is a show with no particular niche, baby. It's always about hanging out. Maybe we'll laugh at some stuff, maybe we'll learn something new, but it's always about hanging out, me and you. Hi, hello, and welcome to That Thing with James, a podcast about nothing in particular. I'm your host, James, and I hope you had a happy Halloween. And I hope, oh boy, do I hope that by the time this episode comes out, the government shutdown ends. The lady from, I think it was Arizona, gets sworn in. The Epstein files get released, and the SNAP benefits quit being fucking held hostage. Boy, I'm on SNAP, by the way. FYI, I am on SNAP. Well, I was, but it's gone now because the Republicans are holding Americans hostage. And is this even considered? This isn't even like a hostage situation. This is just a fucking slaughter. Like this is the fucking, I thought of a comparison, but I'm not going to compare it to that moment in history. I was thinking of something that Japan did to China during World War II. It was awful. This is not that, but it is very bad. The Republicans are demanding that millions of Americans be cut off from health insurance, health care altogether, and millions more have their health insurance costs double, triple. So the Republicans demand either you take away health care from Americans altogether, and if you don't let us do that, then we're going to starve all of the Americans, which also is going to cause a health crisis and cost everyone, even people who are not on SNAP, so much more money. Companies are going to get tight. There's, fuck Christmas, fuck Thanksgiving. There's no holidays this year. Don't let them have, we don't get to have that. We don't get to have holidays. Then you don't get to have holidays in the capitalist sense. And when I say capitalist, do understand, I use that word always as a pejorative. Fuck them. If we do not have the class infrastructure to effectively, successfully pull off a general strike right now, well, at least we know how to close our wallets. Don't buy shit. There's no Thanksgiving this year. We're not buying Thanksgiving stuff. There's no Christmas this year, and we're not buying Christmas stuff. You can still celebrate these things with your family and your friends, the people you want to spend time with, but you can do so without spending money on these fucking corporations that are paying the fucking, well, all of the government, unfortunately, where, America's what, 3 corporations and a raincoat, a trench coat. Yeah, I'm on SNAP benefits, where I was. I'm recording this episode on Sunday, November 2, 2025. This episode will come out the coming Friday. So I say again, hopefully by Friday, and I don't think it will, but hopefully by Friday, the government shutdown ends, that woman gets sworn in to the House, and the Epstein files get released, and we get our fucking SNAP benefits back. This is extremely fucked up. The Republicans are literally taking food out of babies' mouths. Literally taking food out of children's mouths. They are starving little kids intentionally because the Democrats are not allowing them to make the kids get sick and die. So you got 2 options from the Republicans: die or die. That's it. and this is nothing new at all. I mean, this is just the most on the nose it's been, at least in a very, very long time. I'd say this is the most on the nose it's been since what? The civil rights movement? So, I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm not going to assume you have money to spare. But if you do, if you got $5 to spare, and if you need something to fill the time, a voice to hear talk, if you like my voice, and if you like hearing silly topics, usually silly topics that I'm covering, you can cover those bases by becoming a patron at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Yes, that's my Patreon account, and there you can get access to over 120 bonus episodes. Yes, 120 plus bonus episodes. You can access all of them by becoming a patron at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. The link is written in the episode description. And to those of you who are already patrons, thank you so much. You rock. Let's see. I have a show email that I never check. And I've been getting like weird, job offers from recruiting companies that honestly, it feels kind of scammy. I don't trust the shit. So I'm not really touching that stuff. But I also have a show subreddit that no one uses. I have socials as well. All that stuff. The addresses, the handles are all written in the episode description. So why did I start off with Snap? Well, America has a really questionable history when it comes to food. Because the way the food industry and food distribution and food research works in this country is that it's all capitalist, pejorative, driven. Yes, new things will be invented and in a very rushed, haphazard way and just thrown onto shelves and packaged and marketed in a exciting new way that makes you go, wow. And people will buy it, eat the food, and end up with anal leakage. Yes, maybe you know about this. I am talking today about Lay's Wow brand from the late 1990s. I was alive then. Let's see. I think this really popped off. This story really popped off in 1998. And in that year, I was 11 years old. Yes, 11 years old. And I remember this brand, Wow. I didn't eat it. Well, I don't recall eating it. I might have tried it. I've never really gone for diet or fat-free stuff because honestly, the replacements they use so often in these, fat and sugar replacements, the stuff they use is tied to the pharmaceutical industry in America, which is tied 100% to the food industry. Yes, the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry. The food industry that is, held up. It's bolstered up by SNAP programs and SNAP recipients. Oh, yeah. And then the pharmaceutical industry, which has a chokehold on the medical industry in America. The medical industry, which is held up, boosted up, bolstered by recipients like myself of Medicaid, which the Republicans are trying to cut. And since they're not allowed to cut it, then they're going to starve all of us. Or then because of they're not getting that, they are starving us. Open and shut case. Mar-a-Lago having a fucking Great Gatsby Halloween party, which frankly I'm glad about. Was that real? Hold on a second. I heard about this. Let me look this up real quick. Oh, yeah, it's real. I just looked it up. Trump hosted a Great Gatsby-themed Halloween party, and frankly, of course, I'm inherently pissed off about this, but it doesn't make my blood pressure rise like it's been rising so far this episode. It doesn't make my blood pressure rise because it is so fucking on the nose. These people have no finesse, zero finesse. And in order to successfully, in the long term, pull off what they're clearly doing, you have to have finesse. I mean, look back to what began in the 90s with the Clinton era. There was a lot of finesse in robbing the lower and middle class. That requires finesse to dupe a bunch of rubes into saying, yeah, that's a good thing. Oh, they're doing the right thing. They're working for us. That worked only because those people exercised, those third wave neoliberals exercised their thievery with finesse. And the current administration lacks any finesse at all. And it's so fucking on the nose that a president hosts a robber baron and all of his robber buddies host and have a Great Gatsby-themed Halloween party literal hours before SNAP benefits for all recipients in the United States is cut off. And I say specifically cut off, withheld. I say those two terms because I've been seeing two other terms, of course, on mass media, and then from other people who aren't really thinking about how much power specific words have. And that's what I mean when I say finesse. I've gotten down to the nitty gritty of using specific terminology because even if it doesn't, outright have an effect on you, it may unconsciously, it definitely has an unconscious effect on the listener/reader. Okay. I keep seeing people say SNAP is running out or SNAP is lapsing. Well, lapse is in between. Running out? No, the money is not running out. The money is being cut off and stolen and sent to Argentina and used to build the Arc de Trump and some fucking ballroom and to fund a bunch of neo-Nazis who are brutalizing and kidnapping Americans. It's not running out. It's being fucking cut off and stolen. Flat out. Call it what it is. It's cut off, withheld, stolen money. So, food industry is tied to the pharmaceutical industry, capitalist, is tied to the medical industry, capitalist. So, some questionable products get pushed out, like the aforementioned Lay's brand Wow products from the late 90s. And I've got an article pulled up right here on mentalfloss.com. Title, May Cause Anal Leakage. Hold on, let me catch my breath and we'll jump into it. Just a second. Okay, let's try this again. On Mental Floss, there's a article titled, posted 2 years ago, May Cause Anal Leakage, the Olestra fat-free snack controversy of the 1990s. Olestra, O-L-E-S-T-R-A. If you're old enough, you probably remember this. At the time, because I was like 10, 11, 12, I didn't hear about this stuff. I didn't know about it until actually recently I heard about it. And I said, wait, what? And then someone said, yeah, you remember that Wow brand? No. Well, here's a picture of it. Okay, yeah, I remember this. Well, it was causing anal leakage. And that caught my attention. So a fucked up serendipity. That's the topic for today's episode, as we're like 16 minutes into it. Here we go. When Procter & Gamble, that's a pharmaceutical company, when Procter & Gamble began market testing a fat-free version of their popular Pringles snacks in late 1996, Pringles brand manager Casey Keller called their attempt to revolutionize the food industry with calorie-conscious chips, quote, the number one unmet consumer need, unquote, of the moment. Hold on. I'm having hardcore deja vu right now. Have I covered this topic before? I don't know. Heretofore, up to this moment, hitherto, I have not thought that I've covered this topic before, but I just had massive deja vu. I've been having a lot of deja vu, like really strong over the past week. So, let's keep reading. The chip, which had 0 grams of fat and only half the calories of conventional Pringles, was made possible by Procter & Gamble's Olestra, a synthetic fat molecule marketed under the brand name Olean, O-L-E-A-N, Olean, because it was too large to be absorbed by the intestine. It passed through the digestive tract a little too quickly, as it turned out. Now, I can recall, I remember hearing the word Olean and Olestra. I remember that. I just didn't know what it was about. I had no context other than just the word itself. Olestra, which was found in Pringles and later in Frito-Lay products like Ruffles and Doritos, was burdened by a nagging problem. The miraculous fat molecule gave a percentage of consumers stomach cramps, loose bowel movements, and diarrhea. It also led to the coining of the phrase not normally associated with snack foods like, quote, fecal urgency and anal leakage, unquote. I'm having trouble with that word. I've been learning Chinese, man. Call me Derek. I'm learning a little Chinese. A 25-year-long journey. Olestra's origins date back to 1968, when Procter & Gamble researchers were investigating fats that premature infants might be able to tolerate more easily. Over time, they found that attaching an increased number of fatty acids to the sorbitol molecule rendered the fats unable to pass through the mucous membrane of the intestine and were therefore totally indigestible. You know what we can do to amplify this product? Make it indigestible. Oh my God. Because sorbitol was expensive, researchers substituted sucrose and combined it with triglycerides. With this quote-unquote fake fat derived from cottonseed and soybean oils, they seemed to have discovered the holy grail of satiety, a greasy additive that provided flavor with 0 calories, 0 fat, and 0 cholesterol. The development process took 15 years. It took another 10 years for the Food Drug Administration, or the FDA, to approve Olestra for the so-called savory food category, potato chips, pretzels, and other salty snacks. But there were a few wrinkles. For one, Olestra appeared to affect how the body absorbed vitamins A, E, D, and K. Let's put this in some food and rush it to stores. It also impacted dietary carotenoids, which may help the body ward off cancer and heart disease. Oh, lovely. Put it in the chip, put the chip in the bag, shove it in their fucking mouths. The FDA insisted snacks made with Olestra may be supplemented with vitamins Jesus fucking Christ. How about this is causing some serious problems. It's causing, it may lead to cancer and indigestion, but, add a couple vitamins to it. It'll be fine. It'll be worth a lot, baby. My God. FDA insisted snacks made with Olestra be supplemented with vitamins to offset any imbalance that ingestion may cause. The agency also mandated a package warning about... Oh my God. Also mandated a package warning about abdominal cramping and loose stools, an observed side effect of Olestra consumption. Mind you, America is truly in the minority here, actively poisoning its own people, keep them uneducated, keep them sick. It's a fucking profit, baby. Procter and Gamble made a minor stir about the label. After all, it can be difficult to market food with the warning that it might give you explosive diarrhea, but was otherwise pleased. Oh my God. You mean we throw some carrot dust on this and it's good to go? Fuck it. Put the label on. These schmucks are going to eat it anyway. They're a bunch of pigs. There are pay pigs. After 25 years and an estimated $200 million in development costs, Olestra was finally ready for store shelves. Procter & Gamble started with Pringles, test marketing a fat-free version of the baked chips in Ohio, in 1996. As the company was prepared to sell the ingredient to other snack companies, Frito-Lay began experimenting with it in Lay's, Ruffles, Tostitos, and Doritos that same year. Early word was encouraging, and all products went on to a national rollout in 1998. Something's stirring. For a public weaned on the idea that dietary fats were bad, Olestra caused a huge stir. Frito-Lay, which marketed the chips under the brand name Wow, pushed the idea that the chips had just 75 calories per serving, half the calories of the regular recipe, and no fat instead of the 10 grams typical of chips. The snack could conceivably create bathroom emergencies was related to late-night talk show jokes. Procter & Gamble largely dismissed the claims, comparing the potential gastrointestinal distress of Olestra to eating beans or broccoli. But broccoli had never been demonstrated to cause an orange-yellow liquid to seep out of one's rear end. The FDA and Procter & Gamble were inundated with 16,700 complaints from consumers that the products made with Olestra were giving them problems of flatulence from flatulence to stained underwear. A meeting of Washington's Center for Science in the Public Interest, which had criticized Procter & Gamble for hyping Olestra, featured video I gotta see this. Featured video testimony of people afflicted by the molecule. One claimed the cramps of snacking were comparable to the early stages of labor. other experiences with Olestra were said to include the passing of orange-yellow, quote-unquote, globules, oh God, of oil, as well as difficulty wiping. God, I'm gagging. The center even shared a study commissioned by Frito-Lay, which was meant to be confidential, that demonstrated, quote, anal oil leakage, unquote, was experienced by 3 to 9% of study subjects. Quote, underwear spotting, unquote, was present in 5%. A variety of gastrointestinal issues were observed in 7%. The potential for leakage aside, Olestra overcame much of its bad publicity. Frito-Lay sold $347 million in Wow chips in 1998 alone. The fat-free Pringles were good for $100 million that same year. It appeared that consumers were sufficiently enticed by the lower calorie option that they wanted to see how Olestra would affect them firsthand. High hopes and loose stool. Oh my God, this fucking country is so evil. I hate it so much, dude. I hate it. It's impossible to know what percentage of consumers experienced adverse effects, but it's not hard to see why it could have proven so problematic. Unlike the practical serving sizes eaten in studies, consumers tend to binge on chips, devouring a bag at a time or in conjunction with other food. While Procter & Gamble admonished that chips were snacks, it was hard to dissuade people from seeing a bag of chips with half the calories and eating the entire thing. Even Procter & Gamble admitted that gorging could give you loose stools and cramping. Procter & Gamble had high hopes for Olestra, projecting $1 billion in sales in 2000, and eventually an entire line of Olestra-infused goods like salad dressings and desserts. But 2 years after its explosively profitable debut, sales were just half that, and only a few other companies like Utz and Hers used Olestra in their products. Even after the FDA removed the label warning requirement in 2003, consumers weren't finding runny stool all that appetizing. So it was going on into 2003. Oh, wow. And why, oh, why? How come the FDA removed this? It's New York Times. Why, oh, why did the FDA allow that to go away? What's up with that? I'm going to have to look into that, but let's keep reading this article. Frito-Lay renamed their Wow chips to Ruffles Light and Doritos Light. Now, those I remember even more, because by 2003, I was in high school. In 2004, oh yeah, that's when they did that. That was 2 years before I graduated. In 2009, Procter & Gamble made Olestra an additive in What the fuck? In 2009, I was almost done with undergrad by then. Procter & Gamble made Olestra an additive in eco-friendly paints and lubricants. Some foods are still made with Olestra, though it's no longer the industry disruptor the company had hoped for. Why the fuck is it still allowed to be put in food? I'm reading this thinking surely it got banned. No, of course not. We've got this product already. It's worth something. FDA, We'll pay them off. They'll remove the label. And then, maybe we can put it in some paint or something. It'll work out fine. Speaking of its potential, in 1998, Procter & Gamble's then chairman and chief executive, John E. Pepper Jr. What the What the fuck is up with this country? Dude, it's so funny. It's evil. It's so funny how... What the fuck? Procter and Gamble's then chairman and chief executive, John E. Pepper Jr. John E. Pepper Jr. believed that Olestra could soon take a place of prominence among other Procter and Gamble products like Pampers diapers. He did not mention whether he expected sales of the former would help sales of the latter. So that's that article on mental floss. Now, I've got a couple other questions here and some like first-hand accounts. Let me pull those up. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, these first-hand accounts I thought were not. It's just similar things. Like this person says, this is on Reddit, somewhat related, I took the pills that absorbed fat to help lose weight. On my way to a client meeting, I let out an oily shart and had to throw away my suit pants and change on the way to the meeting. The smell was like a burning tire. That oil was everywhere. Ugh, that's nasty. And another person, if you want similar results, you could take Orlistat weight loss pills. It prevents your body from digesting fat, so it passes right through you. And the fat is so slippery, you absolutely cannot trust a fart after a fatty meal. Okay, so why then did the FDA remove the warning label? And frankly, it's some bullshit. There was a associate director of science and policy for FDA's Office of Food Additive Safety in like the late 90s here. Guy named George Pauly said they ran some, obviously some bullshit studies. They were paid off. In short, I guarantee that's what happened. They got paid off. And this George Pauly character goes on and says, mild effects that don't affect their life, claims that Frito-Lays, etc., were singled out for stuff like this. Here we go. FDA took into consideration how it treats other foods and products that sometimes produce gas, bloating, and other effects, and concluded that Olestra might have been unfairly singled out, Pauly said. That notion was underscored by a study that found Olestra chips produced less gastric discomfort than psyllium fiber, high fiber cereal, and the sweetener sorbitol, all known for their gas-producing and bowel-loosening potential. But here's the thing. That fiber is naturally occurring. This is fiber. The psyllium fiber, that's the shit you get on oatmeal, okay? That's just part of the plant. This is not some synthesized, fatty acid that's indigestible, fully indigestible. It's not an equal comparison here. Noting that psyllium, high fiber cereals, and even full fat chips sent some people running to the bathroom, but aren't required by the FDA to bear health warnings. Of that, Pauly said, "You have to be consistent." That dude was. They were fucking paid off for sure. That's why it went away, and I'm aghast that it's still being put in food. I'm aghast. Am I surprised, though? not so much. Yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you learned something and had a laugh. If you want to help support the show, if you're able to, and in return get access to a whole lot of bonus episodes, become a patron at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to catch you on the bonus episode side, and I'll see you next time. Bye.